Hello, this is Sharif, and welcome to the third installment of The View Inside the Chrysalis. The view is getting a little bit better. As I said, this is a whole new technology for me, and I'm learning it bit by bit. I finally figured out how to get the logo sitting right there on the screen, and you'll see other stuff happening in the near future. Um, I'm happy to be here again and live again, and I'll explain the difference between live and recorded live another day. And today I want us to talk about practicing wisdom and what that means. But before I do that, as I've done in the previous days, I want to um, introduce what I'm saying by means of meditation. I know that most of the live streams that you see, folks launch right into it and they're yelling at you and they've got all their gizmos that they're showing and they're being an integral part of the problem that we've got. The problem of our society is not that we need more words. The problem of our society is not that we need more uh, flashing lights at us. The problem of our society is that we don't know how to think. We don't know how to feel. We don't know how to address the questions that are all around us. The good news is that we're going to do that. The bad news is if we're not conscious about doing that, we can wind up hurting ourselves, hurting our planet, hurting each other. And I think that we're probably smart enough not to do that. Okay, so let me now set a timer for myself so that I can um, not go on and on and on with regard to the meditation. Um, Although sometimes I should have a segment where all we do is meditate. Um, see how that goes. So I invite you to get comfortable. And if you are comfortable, close your eyes. Take a really deep breath. Take another really deep breath and let it out. And actually, if the next time, take a deep breath. When you let out a sigh. That vibration helps to relax you. You may be experiencing some words right now. Just let them go. If you feel your consciousness drifting around, that's fine. Just feel it. And feel where your heart is right now. And when you're ready, come back to center. Open your eyes. And we will begin. Um, Okay, so that was a little over 2 minutes, and if your meditation goes deep, 2 minutes can go by very very fast. Um, you should be aiming for 20 minutes a day um, to meditate. I don't have any particular meditation method that I'm selling. I don't have any particular breathing technique that I'm pushing. The only thing I'm pushing is that I want you to be conscious. I want us together to be conscious. And I want us together to unleash a type of consciousness that our planet hasn't seen in a very, very long time. I'm calling it holonic consciousness. And I'm calling it that because there isn't a name for it. We are discovering this right now. This is not the consciousness that's in my head. By the way, your consciousness not located in your head. It's in your head. It's in your heart, and it's in some other places too that are not associated with your body. I have a whole book coming out about that. Um, and by you putting your consciousness everywhere in your body, um, in your environment, maybe even on Pluto, who knows? Um, by doing that, you expand beyond your limitations and you get to see the world in a completely different way. But that's not what today is about. What today is about is looking at the question of wisdom and what is wisdom. And our marker for this for today is my book, Practicing Wisdom. And what I've decided to do is take um, a few of the wisdom quotes from the book, talk about them for a bit, and then see where we go. Um, the the genesis of the book itself is I um, as many of you know, um, we don't I don't have a particular religious practice. I did it one time, and when I had my religious practice, I was very serious about it. I was an Episcopalian and very serious about being an Episcopalian. Um, I flirted with Buddhism. I adopted Islam, and for about 15 years was very serious about the practice. And then I realized that the problem that we had was not spirituality. The problem we had was the religion. Many people, most people, the overwhelming majority of people on the planet can practice their religion in such a way that they honor their religion, honor themselves. And then there are people who don't do that. There are people who, in the name of religion, separate from each other, separate from the other, and bring a lot of pain and discord into the world. So, my challenge, our challenge, is how do we take the wisdom teachings from every single faith tradition, every single wisdom tradition, even from some fortune cookies. If you see some wisdom inside of a fortune cookie, and I start writing these down. I'm writing down all of these quotes, and I realized I had enough for a book. So actually, I've got twice as many as these. So this is like the first volume of practicing wisdom. And I'm hoping that people, when they they get the book and start reading it, that you do as I do. You don't go picking out the Christian quotes or picking out the Muslim quotes or picking out the Jewish quotes. Read across them, and read across them in such a way that you realize that we're all just saying the same thing. So let me show you what the insides of the book look like, actually the paper book. There are these major pages, with the quote on them. And then I spend a few pages talking about the quote. You know, what does this quote actually mean to me? What does it mean to us? And how do you actually practice the thing that the quote talks about? So our our challenge is to be able to do that. So let's get the first slide up. And this is a slide by someone who is, oh, by the way, these are all in random order. I don't even know which ones are popping up next. This is by Vamala Thakar, and she is one of my primary teachers. She's passed on. This is somebody I just wish I could had a time machine to go back and sit at her feet and learn from her. And her quote is, "Spirituality is the seed, and social action is the fruit born of it." Now, some of you may have attended the symposium that I just was on last week, done by the Angelo John Lewis's organization, the Spiritual Inclusion Network. And we were there's a number of us on this panel, and we were talking about spirituality, and we're talking about social action. How does that manifest in us? What is the driving force that's been driving me for all these many decades to keep doing what I've been doing? And feeling very satisfied at the beginning of that, as we are standing at the beginning of our butterfly. Okay. And but we have to realize that the grounding force of whatever our social action is, if it's not spirituality, all we're doing is contributing to the problem. So I live in Portland, Oregon, and in the aftermath, the riots that took place in the aftermath of the George Floyd murder, I saw many, many angry people out in the streets. One of the epicenters of the anger, of the violence, was right outside my window. If you heard about the Lloyd Center, I'm pointing to the Lloyd Center right now. And I could look at the people. I could look in their faces. They were very angry, but they weren't angry about George Floyd being murdered. They were angry because they lived in a society where they didn't fit. And they didn't know how to express that deep dis-ease of not fitting in society. But the way we fit into the society is through our spirituality. If you're not aware of that spirituality, you will never fit. There's never going to be a society where you fit. Now, again, I am not talking about religion. I'm not saying you got to have a religion or you don't fit in society, but you've got to be at peace with yourself. You've got to be at peace with your future. You've got to be at peace with your past. And if you're not, you will be, um, well, you won't fit. Many of us, many of us butterfly imaginal cells stuck inside this caterpillar or this former caterpillar, the bag of ooze that we call a chrysalis. Many of us are aware. It's not that we're aware that we don't fit. It's that we're aware that we fit something that doesn't exist yet. And another quote that's in the book that I don't have a slide for is that we have to be propelled by the love of what we can't see. And when we get to that point, we'll be in great shape. Okay, okay. So I've got about a dozen of these slides that I've got ready. I think I'll get to 3 or 4 of them today. The others will be saved for another time. We'll do this again if you want to. If you want to do this, send me a note. If you don't want to do these, send me a note. That helps me to get in touch with your with where you're thinking. Okay, let me go on to another one, and I have to see which one I'm going to go to here. Okay, this one is going to be, I think, interesting. Oops. Yeah, there's certain words you want to hear when you're doing live presentations, and oops isn't one of them. This is a quote from a guy named Bill Strickland. He says, if you treat poor people like human beings, it increases the likelihood they'll behave that way. And this is interesting because even the people who claim that they want to help given populations do it from a distancing role. A lot of people who say they want to help, what they want to do is help those dirty, nasty, stinking people down there. And we want to help them to stop being so dirty, nasty, and stinking. And we don't see that we don't allow ourselves to see our common humanity and our common beingness on the planet. All beings want the same thing. We want our lives. We want to be closer to that which nurtures us. We want to be further away from that which harms us. This is about as basic as you can get. Paramecium want that. Your children want that. And this reminds me of something. This happened some years ago. You may have heard of the toothpaste and other cosmetics company called Tom's of Maine. I had the honor of meeting Tom, and he was talking about his company, and he said something curious. He said, he wanted people to have a sense of ownership and a sense of pride and a sense of belonging in the company. And so what they did, they wanted folks to own the company. So they created this, um, hired a gaggle of lawyers, and they created this 501, this 40 something another, the K program. And folks were like really lackluster about it. They didn't, like, oh, thanks a lot, but so what? He said the thing that they were really, really passionate about was that when a particular division met or exceeded its monthly goals, they shut the division down, and they said that on the property they have up in Maine, Tom's of Maine, there's a lake on the property, and the division manager takes his division and they walk around the lake. And it takes about 15 minutes to walk around. And so they're outside and they're talking about everything except work. They think this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And it costs them almost nothing. He said the thing that people would get excited about is that in every work area, they put apples and bananas and fresh fruit. So you can go walk up and you can get an apple. Oh, this is it. This is the greatest thing. And so if you treat poor people or middle class people or even rich people like human beings, it increases the likelihood that they'll behave that way. I want to be treated as a human being. I want to be honored as such. I want to be able to honor others. And it's in my honoring of others that I honor myself. Okay, I will move on to, and it looks like I'm only going to get one more done here. Let me shuffle my order a bit. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to have to do 2 because these are both pretty good here. Okay. Crisis can't be solved by simply working harder. And that's by Charlie Johnston, and he's up in the Seattle area, I think. We believe that all of the things that created all of our problems are the solutions to the problem, and it's not. Einstein said it like, a million years ago. You can't solve the problem with the same consciousness that created it in the first place. So therefore, the solution to the problem is a change in consciousness. That's really simple. However, we don't do that simple thing. Okay. And we suffer from it. Those of you who know me know that I really like to talk, and this is like me restraining myself as opposed to saying, let's go for another hour, and I promise I won't do that. And this will be our last quote from Practicing Wisdom today. The fundamental delusion of humanity is to suppose that I am here and you are out there. There is no I. There are no others. Every time you look out, you're looking in. Everything you see out there is inside you and is subject to change through you. You try to avoid a particular person, almost everybody on you meet on the street turns into that person. You try to avoid a particular situation, and the situation's in your face more and more and more. And then you recognize that that change, the aversion that you feel from that person or that situation is in your own heart. And that's the place where it changes. How do you do that? I have a response to that. However, I can't do it. These are 30-minute packets, and if you want more than the 30-minute packet, um, we'll have to do workshops or whatever. Oh, by the way, I do. Um, I'm doing a workshop, and I'll give you some information on that. Um, mhm. I have information. I don't know if I can get this to you. Hang on. Ah, there it is. Um, the workshop is practicing inclusivity. It's going to be a 3-hour workshop. The cost of it is what you are prepared to pay for it. If you have the means, we don't turn down $10,000 checks. If you don't have the means, a few dollars will secure your place. I am going to put the link for how to register for the workshop in the comments right now. Ta-da. Okay, no, really da-da. Or it's da-dying right now. And so there you go. And like to see you there. And on this issue of inclusivity, we'll be able to go deeper than right now. Okay, we've only got a couple of minutes left, and I see that there's some good comments in the uh, in the comments box. I am once I get the hang of all this, maybe I can respond to comments live. Instead, I am going to pick a few comments from the last session, and I'll talk about them in this session. And so I want to show you. There we go. Okay, I want to show you one comment from Yves Dubois. And he said, actually, this is about our last session, which has to do with words and consciousness, and how your consciousness is being shaped by people who are shaping your consciousness by purposely using some words and not using other words. So Eve said, actually, aren't the words we use a reflection of our current state of consciousness? And then he asks the question, are you saying that by willfully choosing different words, we can improve our state of consciousness? Now, that's two questions. I'm going to respond to them as two questions. Question number one, yes, your words are reflecting your state of consciousness. And if you are not aware of that, or how you deal with that, that will be that's not to your benefit. And then the question of, are you saying that by willfully choosing different words, we can improve our state of consciousness? I'm going to say almost yes. I don't want to use the word improve. Every time you use words, you are reflecting a state of consciousness. That state of consciousness can get higher or lower depending on how you choose to see things. Very quick example that happened 3 or 4 days ago, and I will delete the expletives, but you'll know where they go. Um, Sitting in a hot tub with some of the usuals at the gym, and this guy was talking about dog training. Okay, I mean, like how do you train a dog? And he was saying the people that don't train their dogs are a bunch of effing idiots. And a lot of people that are in the pool know me, and so they're kind of waiting for me to respond. And I said, you know, the people who are in the who don't train their dogs the way that you want them trained may, make you upset or angry or whatever. But I'm not going to call anybody an idiot because I don't want anybody to call me one. And immediately, this guy starts backpedaling. Oh well, I just got to say that. Sometimes I act like an idiot, and that right there is the reason why people act a particular way, because they're willing to act that way with themselves. They're willing to act that way with others. I have to elevate his consciousness of himself so he doesn't do this to other people. And I did. And I don't have time to tell you how I did that. Okay, gotta go. I look forward to seeing you on Monday. Maybe we'll get into this more. I'll read your comments. I'll sift through them. I'll see which ones I can respond to. And in the meantime, may all be well, may all be secure, and may all be happy.